See, I paid for 100 miles, so I get 1.2 miles free. I signed up for Coldwater because my friend Daryl signed up for it. Actually, I hadn't really heard of the race, but he was doing it, so I figured I should do it too. And then I told my cousin Travis about it, and so then Travis did it too. And we all went to Arizona.
3, 2, 1, yeehaw! Go get him, guys! Let's go! Go get him! Enjoy it! It's gonna be a good one! Go get him! Let's go! Nice work! Have fun out there. We'll see you back here.
It is 7:15, about 15 minutes since Taylor took off. I'm his crew today. I just made sure he had everything. Last minute we forgot the chapstick, so I went to go grab that. It's such a beautiful morning. He started the race and they go out and all you see is just the sunrise coming up and all these cute little headlamps, and they're all running around the first little loop that they have to run. It's quite magnificent, and I'm just happy that Taylor gets to run it. And I think he has a little bit of fears with his injuries and everything, but really I think once he gets to it, he's gonna just be right to his running, and those will just kind of go away. I think sometimes you just have all of your little insecurities or anything flaring up right at the beginning when you start a race, because you're just so nervous and you know anything could happen. But Taylor paced me for my 100 miles last month, and he ran about 50 miles with that, and he had no injury flare-ups or anything like that, even though a couple days prior to that he's like, oh, you know, this hurts a little bit, you know. So I think he's gonna be pretty good. Pretty excited to crew him. Super stoked. I don't know if there's some type of thing where you just have that same anxiety and feeling that you get when you're running a race. The night before I'm going to sleep and I'm having those same feelings like I'm running the race, and hoping that I set my alarm and all those things, like making sure Taylor's alarm goes off, even though I'm not racing. But everything worked out, and I'm super excited.
Going into Coldwater, the main thing I was nervous about was just existing injuries. I have a knee injury that acts up pretty much immediately during every run that I do. And it happened at my last 100. It was at like mile 95 when I felt it. All of a sudden I just had substantial pain. And it just got really hot and extremely tight, and finished that race, but it bothered me for months and months and months afterwards, and it still bothered me up until Coldwater. And then on our very last long run before Coldwater, it bothered me. And so I have that problem. I have some other minor problems, and I've just been injured off and on. But my knee was my biggest concern. It was my experience that the first two red loops were far more technical than the blue loops. They were only 10 miles a loop, and they had at least as much gain as the entire 27.5 mile blue loop. So they were far more technical, lots of steep drops, lots of steep climbs. Right away, during the first 10 mile loop, I tried to pass somebody, and I tripped and I fell into a cactus. And so I had to stop and take all the cactus barbs out, and but I felt pretty good. During that loop the sun came up, and that was nice, and about 20 minutes after the sun came up I realized how hot it was going to get, because it went from really cold to really hot in 20 minutes. After 10 miles I came into Rumble HQ, which was the start line, which is where Kelly was.
Let's go!
She had new bottles for me. of my carb mix, and then I continued with my second red loop. They have an aid station about 3 miles into that red loop that I just skipped both times.
Bottles?
Talk to Andy
That's awesome.
and Jeff.
It didn't show your time.
Oh.
When you passed the aid station, it stopped at 34 minutes.
Well, yeah, that's the only aid station.
Huh?
That's the only aid station.
Yeah, the timing stopped at 34 minutes.
I wasn't through there by 34?
No.
Work there.
No.
100K runners, they're all going to be doing one more.
Travis was through there by 31 minutes.
100 milers, one more.
How far is Travis?
I didn't see
I don't
him.
need that.
No? Okay.
You didn't see him?
Do you need some water?
100K goes to the blue loop. 100 mile, one more red loop.
Love you.
You good?
Where do I go?
Keep going that way.
I'm 100.
You got it! I love you! You got it! Let's go, Taylor! Woohoo! So cool.
On the second loop, the front of my shoe caught a rock as I was going down a steep descent, and I just tumbled forwards and landed on my bad knee. And that was at about mile 15. And so my knee was bothering me a little bit right away, like it always does. And then after that moment, it started bothering me a lot. And it just kind of never went away. It just continuously bothered me. I hit it right in the part that was causing pain every single time I run. I finished the second red loop. I ran into Rumble HQ before starting my blue loop. I got more fuel from Kelly, and water was going to be the main thing I was realizing, because it was so hot. And so I handheld carried a water bottle for the rest of the race.
Woo!
So after the 2 red loops, you start your blue loops, and you have 3 blue loops. And I wasn't going to see Kelly until the Horse Thief aid station, which was about 20 miles into the blue loop. So there were 2 aid stations prior to that crude aid station that I would hit. One was roughly 9 miles into the blue loop, and then the next one was 2.4 miles after the 9-mile aid station. And then from the 2.4 mile aid station, I would go about 8 miles before I would see Kelly. So in the 9-mile section, it was really hot, a different kind of heat than what I'm used to, in the middle of the desert on a mountain. And so I had my 2 carb mixes with me, which each had 90 grams of carbs and 360 calories a piece. And then I also had 16 ounces of water in a handheld. And all I really wanted was the water. And so my water was gone pretty much right away. And I still had like 7 miles to go to the aid station. And so I was just drinking my carb mixes, which was good to stay fueled, but I was craving the water. So I got into the 9-mile aid station of that loop. I refilled my water. And then Kelly also had pouches of my carb mix, because I wasn't going to hit crude aid stations. I need to carry my fuel in my pack with me so that I could rely on what I know works with my body instead of what the aid stations provide. They actually had really good stuff, and I think it probably would have been okay. They had a really good carb mix, but I just am not willing to risk things like that on an actual race, so I carried all of my fuel. So when I would get into the 9-mile aid station, I would pull a mix out of my pack and add it to one of my bottles and just get water so I could make my carb mix. Then I continued to the 2.4 mile aid station, which I didn't really need anything from them other than topping off my water. And then I continued to Horse Thief, which is when I saw Kelly for the first time at the blue loop.
It is about 11:50 a.m. Taylor should be getting to the aid station that's out there that I'm unable to get to around 12:15. And then he gets to another one around 12:40-ish. Those are kind of estimated times so far. And then around 2:15 he'll be here at Horse Thief. So I have a bit of time to kill. Just cleaning up a bit. I already have his water bottles set. I have everything pulled out that he might need. He'll just be coming right up through here. The sunshine is quite beautiful here in Arizona. I am trying to stay out of it as much as possible, just so I can stay the best I can be, so when Taylor needs me I can get out there and run with him. I'm a little worried. The last couple of miles before coming here and before he met me at the last aid station, he took a couple of falls. He has some bloody knees and his hand's a little bit bloody. And he kind of hit his bad knee, so he's a bit in pain right now. But he told me that he'd finish, so that's what we're shooting for. We're gonna finish.
I'm at 31 miles on me to Blue Loop. Oh no, it's just so hot. I used to heat. I always struggle with heat. I really just want to sub 24. I'm on track for that, so. I have 8.5 or so miles left to Kelly.
Let's go!
You're leaving gear behind, and you have to deal with not only the rest of the climbing, but also the descent. It's at the side grade away. It's at the same grade, so the teammate is
Look at that stud!
exactly. And I don't want to, like, as much as I don't want to, like.
Okay. You want mine? Or no? These are two more toys.
And I think Amish seems like.
Taylor has finished 40 miles so far. He finished 40 miles at a 3:15. Arizona, you're hot. It's quite hot out here. Taylor doesn't really like the heat. Kind of has to work harder for it, so. But he did. Saw him at Horse Thief. Did a quick little aid station. He got some water to throw on his cap to kind of cool him down. And now I just wait here for a little bit. We're back at the starting line. He'll be here in about 7 miles or so, 8 miles. And here you are. We have Ultra Cat doing Ultra things. How do you feel? Yep. Ultra Cat.
Kelly would resupply my
Let's go,
pack
Taylor!
with more pouches of my carb mix so that I could do the Blue Loop again, fill my water, and then I would do the process over. The first Blue Loop, I ran it pretty slow because of the heat. I think it took me almost 7 hours.
7 hours to do the final loop
Okay.
and finish on the 25th. Of course. Did you charge my headphones?
Yep. And you need a headlamp.
Let's see what we can do.
The second loop, it started to cool off a bit, and I ran that loop in under 6 hours. And I had some 830s in there. I had just some fast miles. I was trying to prime the last 27-mile loop so that we could finish the race in under 24 hours. I did really good on the second loop. I pretty much ran the whole thing. Felt great. Passed a ton of people. Flew through the aid station, skipped a bunch of them. Met Kelly at Horse Thief. Also ran into Andy Glaze. He was ahead of me for a while, and then I caught him. He's a big inspiration to me, so we ran together for a couple hours. We ran into Horse Thief together. And then Kelly had planned to start pacing me at the start line. So I was going to leave Horse Thief and run 8 more miles to the start line, and then she was going to run the last loop with me. So we decided that, you know, I really want to do the sub 24. Maybe it'd be better if I have a pacer a little early. And so she was able to get a ride. She hitchhiked her way to Horse Thief, and I met her at Horse Thief. Had she driven to Horse Thief, the van would have been at Horse Thief, and then when we finished the race, one of us would have had to have somehow went and got the van. So that wasn't really an option. So the van was at the start line. She hitchhiked her way to Horse Thief, so when we were finally done, the van would be ready for us. So ran in there. Kelly had all the fuel that I needed to finish the race starting from Horse Thief. So we loaded my pack up, and then we continued to the start line, 8 miles.
I'm waiting for Taylor in this warm area. He should be here in about an hour, and then I'll be running the rest of the race with him, about, I think 35 miles, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I'm excited. He was a little off earlier, and then now he picked it up, and he just said he passed Andy again, so that's good. Seems like he's up and moving again and going, so I'm excited to see him and keep going.
So when Kelly and I left Horse Thief, I gave Andy a hug, and then we continued to the start line, 8 miles, roughly.
Picked up Kelly at mile 66-ish. Just paced me for the rest. We're heading down to the start line. It's, I think, an 8-mile run. And then we have 27 and a half left. And if we get there by hour 17, that gives us 7 hours to complete the last loop, the sub 24, which I should be able to do. I did really good up until this point to get us ready to have a 7-hour loop, because I was behind schedule, so I had to pick it up in the middle loop. And I'm starting to feel fatigued, but I've got a little bit left. I think we're gonna do it. So, got to run with Andy Glaze for about 10 miles, and we just chatted. That was very cool. I really look up to him, so that was very rewarding for me.
We've made it out here. My weight is up. I'm finally warm. We are out here pacing the strong Taylor. He's doing quite well, actually. He doesn't want to admit it, you know, but he's out here, he's pushing it, and we're doing the damn thing. We're just doing a walk run right now, and we're gonna make it. Stay tuned.
We ran into the start line, made more bottles, and then continued onto the last blue loop. And we were still on track for a sub 24. And I knew we had time in my head. We were going to do that because I set us up to do that with a fast second loop. And Kelly kept us on track. She checked our estimated finish time, which was well under 24 hours. a couple things happened on the last loop that started to affect me quite a bit. One thing was I got extremely nauseous, which has never happened to me before. And I'm able to usually consume, 360 calories an hour and 90 grams of carbs of that exact carb mix that we were using, hour over hour, and never feel nauseous. However, this time, that wasn't the case. I've also never ran a 100 that took over 20 hours. So maybe my stomach was just fatigued at that point from the constant drinking of the powder mix. And I was just beginning to get nauseous because of that. Or maybe it was the heat, maybe it was dehydration. I don't really know. But it was something that I've never encountered before that I was experiencing. So it was really hard for me to even take in water. So we got to the first aid station of the third loop, and I put just a tiny bit of Coke in my water bottle, and I drank that real quick, and then I filled it with water. And I realized that the Coke didn't make me sick. And I knew that there was Coke at every aid station. So I calculated this later, but Coke, 16 ounces of Coke has 200 calories. So definitely not enough to fuel an entire race, but it's enough for the last 15 miles. So, especially when I can't take anything in. So we got to the second aid station 2.4 miles later, and we didn't even stop. We just kept going because I really wanted the sub 24, and we were getting close. My other issue that happened was we drove our van down to Arizona, which was a 22-hour drive. Things were kind of misplaced. And right before the race, I realized I couldn't find my underwear that I wanted to run in.
So we had a little bit of a mishap, and we're still finishing, but not within 24 hours. Should I tell them why?
It's up to you.
Respectfully.
It's your story.
So, I don't know how to respectfully say this. Like, I don't know what the best way is. But, I wore a pair of underwear I probably shouldn't have. But I couldn't find the ones that I wanted to bring. And they're somewhere in the van, but we had a 22-hour drive, so things kind of got messy. I wore a different pair, and it really bothered me. Early on, I started bleeding a little bit, like pretty much, 30 miles in. And then it got to the point of it being completely unbearable, a lot of blood. And so there's a section where we just walked 9 miles. I could barely walk until I got to the last aid station, which had a Band-Aid. So I just covered the bloody area so it's not like rubbing anymore. And that fixed it. And had I had a Band-Aid on me, shoulda, coulda, but maybe I would have gotten the 24. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it. But we're still finishing the race.
Look how beautiful this is.
It really is beautiful.
You could literally see all the blood on my shorts. And I had black shorts, and you could still see all the blood. So it was really painful, and I could not run. And there was 9 miles of the last loop that I could only crawl, as like our pace was so slow. I think we had some close to 30-minute miles. So, and there was nothing I could do about it. And the only thing that kept me going was just hoping that Horse Thief, the last aid station of that loop, would have some Band-Aids and that the Band-Aids would work. And so we crawled our way to Horse Thief, so slow. And we got there, and Kelly went and found their little first aid kit, and they actually had some Band-Aids. So she brought me some Band-Aids. I bandaged myself up. And then all the rubbing was on the Band-Aids. And so it fixed the problem for the time being. And so we had a little over 8 miles to go to the finish line. I felt like I solved the problem well enough, and so we left that aid station and headed to the finish, and completely obliterated the chance of doing a sub 24. But that's okay. They're unforeseen circumstances, and now I've learned from that. Definitely wear the right underwear, and then maybe carry a band-aid, though I don't think this will ever happen again. I get this thing after being very deficient calorically and just being up for, at that point, you know, I don't know, 26, 27 hours. Or I just start hallucinating and falling asleep while moving, falling over, just basically unable to stand sometimes. And luckily Kelly was with me, and she would just, you know, pay attention to me, and if I started to drift or wander or fall, she would try to grab my arm and try to hold me up. She'd smack me around a little bit and squeeze my arm, whatever it took. And I don't have that problem once I've hit that point of delusion. As long as I'm running, I'm awake. I feel like that's enough motion to stay awake. And so we were able to run quite a bit of that, and I was totally fine. But if I wasn't running, or if it was like very technical and I was walking, I was definitely falling asleep and complete delusion. And I saw a lot of weird faces and things and all the normal stuff, you know. Then the sun came up, of course, because it's not a 24-hour race anymore. And I felt great. And so we finished hard. We pretty much ran the entire hill. There's a big climb right before Rumble HQ that you gotta climb. Ran up that thing, ran down into Rumble HQ, finished the race. Which is the goal. There's a big difference between what you want and what you need. You know? And what I want is the sub 24, but I needed to finish. But at no point in time, even when I had all the issues I had, did I not think I was going to finish. I figured worst case scenario, I can just crawl out of here and I'll make the cutoff, and I'll still finish, and you know, I won't regret it later. But I feel like once I solved the problem, I finished in a little over 25 hours. I know having some 30-minute miles, I could have easily done this up 24, had things gone my way, but I also don't really believe in excuses, so I don't really have any. We just didn't get it done, and that's okay. We still finished the race, and I will definitely do it next year. I really, really enjoyed the course. I really thought it was, honestly, it's the best course I've ever seen. It was amazing. I like that it was hard. Like, it was somewhat technical, but it wasn't too hard. I never was uncomfortable, other than my body having its problem, but I never thought, like, this is so hard, I hate it. I never thought I wasn't gonna finish. It was always fun. And it's not a flat ultra, those get boring. It was just really cool and really pretty, and so I really liked it. And I think Willapa did a really good job putting the event on. Kelly and I, right now, we live in Washington, and so we have a lot of support in Washington, and we do runs and races in Washington a lot, and we have family and stuff that will crew us and support us. And then, you know, if we have family crewing us, then that frees up Kelly or I to pace Kelly or I. And, you know, last race, my family crewed Kelly and I paced her. And that was great because while I was pacing Kelly, the crew was still able to crew her. And this race, Kelly and I were the only people that we had. So Kelly paced me, but she also had to crew me still. And so that's why she had pre-made all my mixes and had them ready and loaded my pack when I ran into her at Horse Thief. And so I just want to say that we make a really good team because that kind of stuff can be hard and stressful, and it creates a lot of anxiety because, you know, I come into an aid station and like I need certain things and that can create some anxiety because your crew wants to make sure that they're able to do that for you. And so I'm just proud of us that we're successful at it and we can go anywhere in the country and support each other. And so it's pretty cool. Kelly and I get to kind of like leapfrog back and forth with these races where, you know, last time she ran a 100 and I paced her, and then this time I ran a 100 and she paced me. And so next month Kelly has a 100 and I'm going to pace her. And so that's going to be really cool. So she's going to do the Orcas Island 100 in Washington, which has, you know, 27,000 feet of gain, I think. And so that will be really interesting. I think the terrain is less technical than Coldwater, but it's cold, which I love, but Kelly hates, and it's super steep, which I love, but Kelly hates. So it's going to be super interesting. It's great that we're challenging ourselves in ways, you know, because I don't like the heat, so I went and ran in the desert, and Kelly doesn't like the cold, so she's running at Orcas Island. It's the opposite, so we should have flipped, but I think it's better to challenge ourselves, so that'll be awesome. All right, I'm done. Get out of here.
Listen to